morning,
Good afternoon.
good evening, wherever you are on our amazing planet. I'm Marielle.
Shia.
Welcome to being here. In case you're unfamiliar with our podcast and our style, we do tend to finish each other's sentences, so please
I don't have
include
to
it.
say anything.
No, you don't. Well, sometimes Shia just thinks it and I say it, so that is true teamwork.
That was what happened.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes.
Yeah. The other thing is we're not going anywhere. We're not trying to get you somewhere. Our approach is about discovering the moment and living there rather than thinking you already know what it's all about.
Well, I probably know what it's all about, but that doesn't mean that the experience of being here is anything related to what I know.
Right.
Well,
I was on the way home from the river yesterday. One of the random playings on my Wi-Fi was you reading from one of our books about listening and about thinking you already know what someone is going to say, so you don't listen. We talk about the same stuff really all the time: living in the moment, being kind to yourself, listening.
And did we mention listening?
Yes. And you can either think you already know, in which case you will really not listen. You'll say, "Oh, I know that already." And that was the title of it. I know that.
Oh, I know that.
Yes. And or you can discover something that may have been here all along that you just assumed you knew, and you find something different.
No, we recorded a podcast earlier, the episode that if you are a regular listener, you heard last week. And at the end of the episode, after we said goodbye to the folks who were partaking and a part of our guests and producer and everything, our cat baby came up and she made it known that she would really like a little loving, and Shia picked her up and was holding her in his arms and came over, and I was petting her also, and she became so draped and so relaxed. And I read Shia a email thread, meaning somebody had written one email to a group of people and people were replying and adding their experience of what was happening in their day. And there were maybe half a dozen emails, and I had read them all before, but I hadn't read them out loud to Shia. And I took a moment to do that. And it was so beautiful. Like I heard the words for the first time. I had the experience for the first time. And Shia, you could say, interrupted me if I was going anywhere. He nudged me and said, "Look out the window." And the wind was buffeting the trees, and the red maple leaves are green and red, and they were just like dancing. And then another moment, he nudged me with the cat's paw, that the cat was so draped and asleep that he could nudge me. She didn't even notice that he had done it, but I did. It was the baby Shia team allowing me to experience that this moment was what was important, not getting through what I was reading. So it was all a dance, it was all inclusive. And I know what it's like to try to get somewhere. And we all do that. And then there's now, and this moment, and this possibility.
Yeah.
Should we take our first guest?
Let's.
All right. Tracy, welcome to being here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm calling in from St. John's, Newfoundland.
So nice to have you here.
It's really
Mm.
nice to be here.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, this topic just called to me. I like the idea of teamwork. And even when I had signed up to call in for this call, I felt like I was more in sync with work and even at home life. I guess my question would be, uh, in work, I work on a team of 5 people and with my boss, well, 6 people with my boss. And he's going on paternity leave in July for 2 months, and I will be um, handling a lot of his communications while he's out. So I find I have been thinking about that, and like I want to be good. I want to be like he's great. Like I want to be as good as him. Yeah.
Tracy, darling, you're going to handle his stuff.
Good choice on his part.
He chose you to handle his stuff.
Yeah, he's like it didn't officially announce it, but he said to me when I'm gone, I want you to, yeah, step
My
in.
question, how long have you worked with him?
3 years.
You think he knows who you are in 3 years working with you?
Yes.
He had 5 other people that he could have chosen, or 4 others other than you, who he could have chosen to handle his stuff while he's going on maternity leave. He
Yeah.
chose.
My mind is rebuttaling you because I'm like, well, I can see why he didn't pick this person because like, I don't know, they're younger than me or something like that is what my mind
Yeah,
is saying. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's
Well,
okay.
even that you were casting forward, wanting to do the job well, is testament to why he chose you in the first place. But one thing I can say is, I can worry about if um, this weekend, Shai and I are driving into New York City. I can worry about the traffic and how I will handle it, but I don't know what the traffic is going to be like until we're on the road.
Until we meet traffic, because there may not be any traffic to speak of.
Or there may be weather related things or no weather. There may be accidents or none going in through the tunnel or going in.
Nobody can predict how life is going to show up or what you need to deal with and handle. But I'm sure your supervisor is clear that you are capable of handling whatever comes along. That's why he's tasked you with those responsibilities.
Also, being responsible doesn't mean you have to do it alone, as in encapsulated. So it might be good to sit down with him. I mean, not that I'm giving you tips, but to speak to him and say, hey, if something comes up and I'm not quite sure how to do it, who on the team do you think I should talk it over with so that I don't have to bother you?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
The other thing is, if you allow yourself to come from the reality that you're capable.
Well, in your work reality, you are capable. In your personal reality, you doubt that from time to time.
Yes. Yeah.
See, you know how to do your job. You know what? You're an engineer. You know how to do that stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yeah. I do.
I hear your butt in there. Yeah. There's this big gap in there. The
well,
gap before saying yeah and the gap after saying yeah.
yeah, I know, but you're a girl. Didn't that one do it? That's a good one.
Yeah, to be engineers.
That's a really good one. Yeah. Yeah. I yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, what you're saying feels all true and Yeah.
Well, here's another thing. You mentioned that he's going on vacation in
Not vacation, but
or
leave.
on paternity leave, excuse me, thanks, in July. This will be airing toward the end of July, but we're sometime before that now while we're recording. Between now and when he goes, if you put your attention on doing whatever it is that you're doing with excellence, then when the new set of circumstances arrive,
You'll bring that excellence to those circumstances.
but if you're worrying about how to do it right or do it well or be good or be better than or as good as, then the attention is on you, not on taking care of whatever's in your environment.
Right. And when you look, it's interesting. We have a little fish pond in the backyard. Little, I mean little. It's not big.
It really is little.
And I had a UV filter for it to keep it clean. And this UV filter came with these little suction cups on it that allowed it to be put on the inside of an aquarium, on the glass. Well, those suction cups have fallen off over time, and I was left with one little suction cup left, which wasn't enough to handle holding this in place. So I had to figure a way of mounting this filter on the side of the pond without using suction cups, because there was nothing to put suction cups to. And it was a matter of looking, where I'd look and see, well, I have this plastic tub that is part of the filtration system and pump system of this pond. And now what can I do? How can I mount this filtration system, this UV filter, on the outside of this thing? And it was about looking and seeing and placing it where it needed to go, and then seeing what I could do to create a base or foundation to put the thing on. And every once in a while, you need to take this filter off or out to clean the interior filter of it. So it was a matter of, and it became obvious how to do it. Now it's working better than it ever did.
It's fun as Shai talks to you, I can see your engineering mind working on potential, like as you visualize potential solutions for it. It's very fun.
But it wasn't something that I could just do without looking to see what needed to be done. If you look and see what's needed, then you can create a solution to just about any problem. It's only a problem if you don't have a solution for it.
Yeah, I imagine there are tasks of his that will come up that you've not done before, and that your knee-jerk reaction will be, I don't know how to do this. That's true.
Well,
then,
you don't.
Then what?
Right. And now if you use your eyes, we talk about using your eyes as well as your ears to listen, because your eyes pull you into the current moment. They pull you into what's going on if you are engaged with your eyes. They also allow you to see the visual of the spatial relationship between things and what needs to be done to have it work out. Well, it's the same thing with just about anything. If you really engage and look, rather than engage in the conversation in your head that I'm not good at this, I don't know how to do it. He made a mistake in choosing me.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, it's all that. And in terms of like what you're saying, listening, looking, and seeing, I've found since just more recently, like when we have meetings at work, rather than trying to get on to the next thing or, finish the meeting, I find I am able more so to listen, just like take a breath and listen more than I was for some time. Yeah.
That's nice. Nice. One other thing, I wouldn't be surprised if there are times where you have that self-deprecating conversation. Why did he choose me? I don't know. I'm not the right person. And just know that that happens in the gap between when you're confronted, as in face head on, whatever the next project is, or the email that comes in, or the question that comes in from a client. It's that gap between when that happens and your full engagement, that conversation comes up. So the conversation itself is not a problem. It's like, oh, I'm not really engaged in finding the answer or solution or taking care of this request.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here.
Thank you.
Now it's your turn. Let's hear what one of you listeners has to say about being here in the transformation community.
This is Michelle in Manhattan, New York City. And I love the seminars with Ariel and Shaya because it's not just about receiving, but it's also about giving. And before I've met Ariel and Shaya and this community, this hasn't been a part of my life.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shaya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We are back this weekend, Saturday for Living Made Easy. No, we've been on vacation for a bit. Monday is also a Living Made Easy. So if you would like to come to one of these 2-hour seminars, go to transformationmadeeasy.com and you can sign up and you can look at our whole schedule throughout the summer so you can pick and choose the dates that work for you.
And throughout the year.
Yeah, well,
Right.
we don't have it scheduled all the way through the year. I don't think
But
yet.
don't we have Costa Rica up though?
Yes, but I was talking about the 2-hour seminars.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have the majority of the seminars up through the year. The next one is in-person creativity and intuition. It's in New Jersey, August.
Yes, and again, it's an in-person weekend where we get to hang out with people.
And everybody can tell you actually have legs,
Mm-hmm.
feet. Yes.
And then we have a transformation time and project management, a Zoom seminar, virtual, September 28th and 29th.
We're coming again to Hamburg in October for the Freedom to Breathe and the Art of Being Happy. We'll be there for Halloween. We'll be breathing through Halloween, and then the Art of Being Happy is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of November. So, and of course, Costa Rica in January. We'll be there for a couple of weeks of courses. You can come for 1 week or 2. Costa Rica is an amazing possibility to discover yourself and your genius and your brilliance and let go of having to work so hard to be you and just discover how great you already are.
Let go of the story of who you think you are to discover
who you really are.
Yeah, in the absence of lots to do.
I like that. Again, transformationmadeeasy.com. You can find out everything and sign up for our newsletters too. Let's take our next guest.
Yes.
Okay, Marion, welcome to being here. Where are you zooming in from today?
Hi, I'm Marion, and I'm in Brussels, Belgium today.
Nice.
Yes, thank you for having me on your team for the podcast. Yeah.
Yes, you definitely are on our team.
Yeah, I think sometimes you're underestimated. I'm always touched when we send out a blog and you write your you go in and you make a comment on the blog on how it it has touched your life. And I think that's such a gift
Yeah.
that you give to everybody, Maren.
Thank you. Yeah. When I was reading the email, the invitation to the podcast, and how it was about they're on your team, about teamwork, I was thinking back to school times, physical education sports class, when you were supposed to, I don't know how it works in the United States, but we were supposed to select teams for
Mhm.
basketball or whatever was on in PE. And I used to hate that. I'm a really great swimmer, but useless at other sports like ball sports or whatever we did at school. And so the two teams would be selected, and the boys first, they could run faster and throw a basketball higher. And I was always one of the last ones to be like, oh, okay, Maren, to be taken on a team amongst other girls who maybe weren't so talented. And I've noticed recently that when I'm creating a team, I'm compensating by preferring women on my team.
Well, I think your logic system is flawed. I think that you've chosen women because you're more comfortable with women.
Word for word, what I would have said.
I don't think it's because of the
That
story that you've just narrated.
That you're making up for how you did teams in PE when you were a child.
That's just a convenient story you tell yourself. The reality is that you're more comfortable with women than with men just because you are.
It's interesting.
That's true.
Maren, in your memory bank and in your reality, that the boys were first, and then you were picked toward the end because you were less talented. I recall, and this could be an incorrect memory, but I wasn't super talented at sports either. And I would come home and I would practice and practice and practice, and my practice made no discernible difference because I didn't develop my coordination until much later. In as far as with the ball or with running and speed. But I know that I was never picked toward the end because I had a nature of feisty, I can do this. And I'll bet you, if you take a look, aside from the male female thing, even if somebody doesn't have a natural aptitude to begin with for something, if they have an attitude of willingness to learn and they're going to go for it until it's completed, they're far better than somebody who has natural talent who kind of phones it in.
Yeah. It is true. I'm more comfortable with women on my team. Yeah.
Well,
true.
Why not? They're familiar. They
That
got
is
the
great.
arts that you have. You've aligned yourself in a team that is committed to proving that men are wrong. Unbeknownst to you. So it makes it very difficult to have relationships with men work out when you're unawarely finding fault with men just because they're men.
Yeah.
When we talked about everybody being on your team,
did we include men?
Yeah. I think, in fact, I know when I created this episode title and description, it was a day when I had found somebody to be not harmonious with me, somebody who like from time to time when you're parenting your child, he may not be operating the way you wish, or he may not be communicating, or but he's on your team. He is a perfect training ground for how Marin communicates with men. So when it gets bumpy, it's not like he's on the other side. He's on the opposite team. He's your personal trainer.
Oh, I like that.
Well,
I like it.
he's a man.
Yeah.
And how you interact with men reflects how men interact with you. And if you're looking to find fault with the way he's doing things, he will not interact with you in a kindly way.
True.
See, my cat is an amazing teacher, because if I pick her up and she doesn't particularly feel like being picked up, she will not stay in my arms.
She's very good at jettisoning herself off our chest. Like,
Exactly.
let go of me.
I have the scars to prove it. Now, but if I am there and I see the signals that she sends, when she wants to be picked up and I do it, she is very loving.
And she's perfect for when you say look and read the signals, not read the signals the way you would prefer them.
See, you read the signals the way you prefer them. You have an agenda to get what you want to turn out the way you want. You want your story to play out the way you prefer. And life shows up the way it does, and it doesn't give a hoot about your story or your preferences. So it shows up the way it does, especially with a boy.
Okay.
He's not a girl, and you don't want to try to turn him into a girl.
But it's interesting. It's an interesting thing, Marin, because you can't do it wrong either. It's like we're all trying to be the best us. I really get that. I don't think anybody would be listening to this podcast if they didn't have an interest in being the most expansive, self-expressive, effective, centered version of themselves. So I get that. I really get that. And then there's the reality of you can only be exactly as you are
in the current moment of your life. So in the moment of this moment of now, you could only be on this podcast with us and nowhere else in the universe, because this is what you are. That's an amazing thing. But you have a mind, and your mind thinks it knows better about what's going to make you happy and satisfied. Except if you follow that prescription of your mind, it doesn't turn out happy or satisfied. Have you noticed that one?
I have noticed that one. Oh, yes.
Interesting. When you go for what you think you want, it's never enough. It's never fulfilling. And when you slow down enough to be in sync with your life right now as it's showing up, magic.
I believe, I know you're a member of our subscription series, Living Made Easy on Demand.
Yeah.
And for our listeners who are not familiar with what it is, it's a subscription series where you sign up for a year, and each week you get a podcast in your inbox or a video with us having a conversation with someone or with a couple. And they're not long, but they're in depth, they're inspiring, they're wonderful. And then each month there's a new blog that we've written. And I think the one that we had written about colorful inspiration, you used as an inspiration to allow yourself to bring color into your life. And I was so touched.
I'm showing the jacket I bought after reading your contribution.
Yeah, I'm always touched by you, how you use the people around you to inspire yourself, Marin. And I would love it if you would consider yourself on your team, because you truly are an inspirational force. And I think sometimes you forget that.
I do forget that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
And just speaking from me to you, you're a lot nicer to yourself these days. And it's showing in how you're showing up.
I think Costa Rica was very good for you.
Yes.
So thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Really.
Pleasure.
If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you can. You can share it with your friends. You can go up on social media and share it as well. Every week we share the episodes as they come out with tags. So it's a good way also to share and grab it from us. The headliners are people in our community who operate as a team for this podcast, not only in producing it and editing and uploading it to our site, but they create what they call headliners, little snippets from the podcast, and they set it up so you can easily share it with your friends. You can look for it on our LinkedIn site. That's one of the easiest places to find it. Next week's episode is a good one. Aggravation.
I think that's aggravating.
It is aggravating.
It's aggravation is aggravating. Look, we hope to hear from you. See you next time.
Yeah, and for those of you who are listening to this in real time, we'll hope to see you Saturday and or Monday, because it'll be nice to be back with you. And in the meantime, we'll be back next week.
So
come on back
and don't miss
being here.